Hi guys, Master's Creed here. Welcome to my channel. Now I'm gonna go through a quick game. This is a game I played, I think, yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. It's against an 1800, 1900 level opponent online. Uh, we're gonna explore the Scandinavian for this game. The main idea that won this game was playing on both sides of the board. Something that I think most beginners are not really acquainted with. Oftentimes, I find that students who are, let's say, trying to apply openings, they don't really understand the plan of the openings. They can memorize the moves, but they get to a point where they become a bit stuck and they kind of run out of ideas and run out of steam in the middle game. So I'm going to show you how to set up in the Scandinavian. Usually after e takes, most people prefer the queen takes variation. I've come to find this variation isn't very good because your queen has to move around the board. So let's say if pawn takes, queen takes, knight c3, queen a5. Then there's moves like d4, c6, bishop d2. All of white's moves aim at the queen, and you'll spend multiple moves moving the queen around, and that's not very good. So it should look something like this. Just to go through the modern, knight c3, then queen a5 usually is played. There are ideas like queen d6. Those are very complex though. D4, you have something like c6, bishop d2 hitting the queen, and then you just prepare knight f6 or something of that sort. And eventually, when this discovery happens, you simply tuck your queen away on c7 if possible. Anyway, this variation I find favors white, and it gives white a lot of room to develop, as you can see, and their pieces become extremely active. So to avoid this line, I usually get into the modern Scandinavian, and this follows after knight f6. Sorry, this follows after knight f6. So he captures d4. Now, in this game, we didn't get knight f6 yet. We got it a while later. After takes, he moves his knight to d5. We develop our bishop. I'll explain the knight f6 idea towards the end. Knight f6 now is played. And all the transpositions that you're going to get, you get some sort of position like this with the knight on f6. Sorry. Now, at this stage of the game, what we have is the following. Knight c3, we play c6. And the point of c6 here is, you should be familiar with this idea. We're trying to stop the knight from moving onto this side of the board. Something that we want to avoid because that will give him tactics eventually. When he goes back to e3, this hits the bishop on b5, on f5, sorry, so we have to move it back to g6. E5 is then played. We're just trying to develop at this stage. We're just trying to develop as much of our pieces as possible. Sorry guys, I'm having a bit of a hard time with my mouse, so my apologies. We're trying to get our bishop out. As you can see, bishop c4, bishop c5, knight b d7, a3. A3 I think was a bit of a mistake. Not sure what he's trying to do in this position. Anyway, queen e7, bishop gets attacked. We move it back to d6. There is a case for bishop b6 keeping an extra on the king, but the king can always run away to h1, and the bishop then looks silly on b6. So probably not the best option. And now, after castles, this is the part where we sort of don't really know where we can, let's say, create chances. Oftentimes, you find most players are too focused on one side of the board. So they'll think of moves like h5. Here, h5 is fine, actually. It gives you a stronghold on g5, g4, as you'll see later on. But the whole concept of this video is learning how to attack on both sides of the board. Our king side is secure. Our pieces are developed, ready to pounce at any time. So we don't necessarily need to focus on that side of the board. We need to now focus on progress on the queen side. And you're going to see in a second how this little idea, so we'll start with b5. He moves his bishop back, and then we hit the pawn on b4. And now all of a sudden, you can see we've significantly weakened white's queenside. In fact, he virtually only has the c pawn left, and we will bring it into the game at some point. Well, he takes anyway. And now this pawn, as you're about to see, is super weak. This pawn on c2. So technically, we've already won the game. We just need to convert the position. Also, by the way, notice rook on a1, which a couple of moves ago wasn't really active. But this a5 move has allowed it to come into the game. So anyway, he plays... I need to explain one more move, sorry. This h5 moves, it prevents any counterplay from white on the king side. So this is something that should make sense. We're just trying to get a stronghold on that g4 square. Now, a key move here to notice is after f5, I thought of taking. It does give him doubled pawns. He will have doubled pawns on the f-file. Now, a move I saw was queen c5, and you should notice there's two pieces now putting pressure on the c3 square. Now, I expected my opponent to see this move, and that's why I skipped bishop captures f5, because there was a weakness on c3 that we had to exploit. Now, he missed it. He plays rook fd1, and then we just take the free piece, takes, and we're winning that trade very easily. You should already see now how this type of setup, you have to try and play on both sides of the board, as you can see, and this creates winning chances, and you have to pounce on those winning chances. Otherwise, all the efforts that you've made prior to this don't really make much sense. Now, going back, there's one more move I want to show you. I want to give you a couple of reasons as to why my opponent lost in this game. Extra notes you can add in. Firstly, they moved the knight too many times in the opening. If you're well versed with opening strategy and tactics, you should know this idea. Don't move a piece multiple times. He moved the knight like 3 or 4 times. And as he done this, we got a chance to develop our pieces. And as you can see, this is one of the reasons why he lost. Another reason is, for example, in this position, h3 was not needed. He could have just developed, let's say bishop c4. Could have also challenged this pawn and made room for the bishop to come out, even b3, some cases for that in this position, to get some sort of a fianchetto. h3 would have made sense if this bishop was on c8, because then he'd be stopping us from really developing it. In this case, it's not, so there was no need to play h3, another wasted move. So you can see that these tiny, for lack of a better word, bad habits, they tend to cost you later on in the game. So anyway, without making this video too long, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.